How you going, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Thanks for watching. For the people who catch the replay, there's an unscheduled live here, so let me just get the video up on the laptop so I can make sure it's working properly. So um, it's been a while since I've been live and just doing a catch up on some things that I picked up. As you know, I had a show at Melbourne Metro Comic Con, which is first show they've done. Let me just make sure this is mute. Okay, so they had their first con last weekend, and I didn't go as a seller, so I had a chance to uh to look through the stalls and meet some actors and some creators there. So we'll just go through the stuff that I was able to pick up. Um, I also have some books that I picked up from eBay sellers and Facebook sellers, which I'll do some openings of as well in this stream. So to start off with, okay, so the first thing we'll start off with is let's move these. So, as it says in the title, I got some original art and I also got some commission work done. So, we'll start off with the first commission piece that I got done, which is in my Uncanny X-Men blank. So, there was a fair few artists at this show, a lot of the Australian guys that are normally there, but there was a new one, Dan. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce his second name, but he is the current artist on Marvel's Ghost Rider, and he does oil and water, not oil, sorry, watercolor painted pictures. And I asked him to do a commission, and he chose to do the X-Men book, and he did a old school original Jean Grey. You can see color, watercolors, and the signature there. So I've got a fair few commissions done in this book now, so you may have seen from the other videos, but we have a saber tooth done by Camillo, and we have a Colossus done by Grange, and obviously my Jubilee and Wolverine, who were done by Jamie Johnson. So I've been slowly getting this book filled over the last few conventions. Um, and every time I show it to the artists, they really like the concept of the book, and they're always very excited to put a piece into it. So it's always great seeing what they come up with. Uh, at the same show, like I said, had a chance to look at some books and stuff like that. So I picked up some random books. As you know, I'm picking up all the Zero books from the New 52. So I've never seen this one before, the Ravengers. So we picked up that. Uh, some more blanks. to use to make the books like I did with the X-Men book. So we had two of them. Um, Comic sellers wise at this show, there weren't a lot. You had Bruce from Back Issue Comics, which was the main one. You had Seb's Comics, and you had a few sellers that had one or two boxes here or there. And then you also had King's Comics, which had their traditional comics, which are the same most shows. And you had another local comic store. I can't pick what the name is at the moment. I'll leave it in the comics, but they're from the other side of Melbourne, and they had some cool covers and some random 1 in 20s and 1 in 10s, 1 in 25 variant covers. So the first pickups were from Back Issue Comics, Bruce. So Old School Avengers book, first appearance of Yellow Jacket. Uh, Another early Avengers book, number 69, which is the first appearance of Grandmaster and Squadron Supreme. Next up, you have the last book that I got from Bruce, which is a Mighty Thor 294, which is the origin of Odin. Now, another book that recently, well, it's not old, but it's not new, and it's not a very big book, but it is a cool book, and it is Marvel Knights Daredevil #1 with an awesome cover. So this is one of the books that I'll be taking overseas with me to get signed at the con I'm going to. Alrighty. So these next books. So I picked up this book from one of the sellers that only had a few boxes of books, who was another local guy who does online, has a lot of retro toys and cards and some comics. And I must have looked through his stall 2, 3 times and never noticed this book. And after looking through the boxes, I finally picked up one book and I paid for it. And as I was about to walk away from there, I noticed something on the wall, and I went and had a closer look, and it was what I thought it was. And it got Star Wars #2. Uh, at the stage, I wasn't 100% sure what the significance in this book was, but I did know it had some significance, and I picked it up, especially at the price it was at. And then when I had a look, there's about 10 first appearances in this book. First Chewbacca, first Han Solo in story, first Millennium Falcon and Death Star, something to do with Obi-Wan. So I'm not much of a Star Wars person, but it was too good of a deal to pass up, so I picked that up. Now, the last 3 books that I picked up are some more books for me to take overseas when I meet the creators at the con I'm going to. So we have some Batman books. We have a, a storyline, and we have Batman 655, which obviously is the first appearance of Damian Wayne. Then we have 656, which is the first, I think, first full appearance. And then we have 657, which is the first cover appearance and first appearance in costume. How you going, Kenneth? Thanks for watching. And at this show, one of the international artists that was there was Mike McCone. Um, so I was able to get on his list to get a commission done. I gave him his option like I do all the artists, and he chose to do a Batman character in my Batman book. So the character he chose to do was the Joker, and could not be happier with that Joker. Just the detail, even though it's very simple, it just looks awesome. Nice and clean in black and white. So we have that. So I have a few of these books going at the one time. So I have my X-Men book, I have a Batman book, and I have a Wonder Woman book. So I haven't added anything into the Wonder Woman book recently, but we'll just show what has been done in it. So I have three commissions done in this book. So we'll start off with have a Stargirl done by Katie Warden. And then we have a Wonder Woman with some fantastic detail and just the style from Mike Chrome. And then we have the front cover, which is a Deathstroke. He used the front and back cover done by Mark Luther, which is one of my favorite pieces that I own. So, as I said, because I had more time to look around and not have to stress about being a store holder, I actually had some time to speak to the local artists, Jamie Johnson, John Samaria, I think is how you pronounce it, and Al, and some of the others, and just having a good chat to them. And it finally convinced me to buy my first pieces of original art. So this was in the last hour or so of the show on the Sunday, and I bit the bullet. So we started off with Jamie Johnson, who had a deal that if you buy the original art, you get a print. So I will show you the print and then I'll show you the original art. Um, Jamie Johnson, if you've seen, did a whole series of these prints and characters over the last couple of months and released them. So we'll start off with that's what the final print product looked like, signed by Jamie Johnson. So I got that, and I have the original print, so his original drawing of the character. So which is cool. I will frame these up and have them on the wall at some stage. And after speaking to Jamie Johnson, I was speaking with John, and I was really hoping to get John to do a commission in my X-Men book, but the artist, Dan, took a little bit longer than expected to get it finished, so I didn't have time to give it to John to get it done. So he had some art prints and he had his folio of original art. So we'll start off with the art print that I bought from John, which was a special release for Supernova Perth and Sydney, which were shows earlier in the year. Um, this is a limited piece for the convention of the Ninja Turtles and Mad Max. As you can see, it's signed by Kevin Eastman, Freddie Williams, and John. So when I seen this on the wall, had to pick it up. And then I started looking through John's original art pieces, and he was telling us a story that he was approached by DC about maybe doing some work on Teen Titans, and I was a big fan of Teen Titans. So when he said that, it had me peaked. And he was also approached at the same sort of time frame from Marvel to do an Avengers book, and he was saying that he had the original piece that he drew and submitted to DC to show them his take on Teen Titans. And when I seen this piece, I just could not stop looking at it and trying to decide if I really wanted to get it. And in that time, he was still telling us the story, and it came down that Avengers and Marvel story that he did got back to him first. So he took it on, and the DC story didn't get a chance to do, but he did end up doing a Raven and Beast Boy book. But this is the piece he submitted. So as you can see, you got Beast Boy, Robin, Aqualad, Raven, Starfire, and Superboy in the top corner. And just the amount of detail and effort that went into this piece, I just had to put it as my first original pieces, as I bought both literally within 10 minutes of each other. So I went from having no original art to having two original art pieces in my collection. Um, Anyone who catches this on the replay, if you have any tips for the best way to display these, leave a comment and let me know. One last time the piece. So in the last videos I did for cons, I didn't really show off show. I didn't really show the signatures that I was able to pick up because I didn't have them on me. I left them at a friend's house in a folder. So just go through the stars and the signatures I was able to get through the last shows. So first up, we have Emily Swallow. from The Mandalorian. And we have this piece. Then we have just on photos, nothing special the rest of the series. We have Julia Hackery, I think it is, who is Dinah Lance, Black Canary in the last few seasons of Arrow. Um, we have Kathy Lotes, who was the White Canary in the first few seasons of Arrow. Another one from Julia. We have another one from Emily from The Mandalorian. And went a little bit overboard. We have another one of Julia. Arrow was one of my favorite shows, so whenever they come, I tend to go a bit overboard. Uh, we have another one from Emily. Okay, the big guest at one of the show was Carl Urban. So when met him, obviously it's hard to decide on getting one signature from him, whether it be the boys or Scourge from Thor. So we have from the boy as Billy Butcher, and then we have him as Scourge from Thor. So another Emily on a smaller poster. Um, this was a pickup for a friend. Not even really sure on the character's name or who he is. At the recent show, we had some pretty cool actors. So we have gentleman who played Cyrus Stone in Young Justice. We had Tom Ellis from Lucifer. Uh, this gentleman was a last minute entry as some people pulled out. Gentleman played Superboy in the new Titan series. And the big guest at Metro Comic Cons was obviously David Harbour, as you have Hellboy and Red Guardian, and you have Henry Thomas, I think his name, as Elliot from E.T. And these two are from the first show of the year. So you have Jim Cummings, who obviously played Tigger and Pooh, and Stuart from The Big Bang Theory. I'm really bad with names. They're all escaping me at the moment. So I know their character isn't their name, but that's what I'm remembering at this point. So was able to pick up a few signatures, and I have some extras that I will most likely use in some giveaways or some mystery boxes that I have a plan to do. Um, the last few things that I'll show in this stream, I've got some eBay pickups and Facebook pickups. I'll just fix up these images, these photos. So um, I've been trying to be good and not buy too many books online, considering that I'm going to the con overseas and hoping to go hunting and possibly find some cool books there. So the first little pickup I had that came this week is just we have a Mortal Kombat US Forces #1. Never seen this book, and I bought two other books from the seller, and he had this, so I picked it up. Um, Next book I got from that seller was a Marvel Knights #1. There's something about this cover that always attracts me to it, so when I see it, I pick it up. And we have a book to add to my Kevin Smith collection. So it is a James Silent Bob #1, which has the art done by Joe Casita. And now we'll quickly open up package. So this was a few more books that I picked up from a local Melbourne seller. So let's see what he's done here. So get this one done. Okay, so there's nothing too special in these books. It was more just the deal and the prices I got on them. So we have a Flash 21 in the in the holographic cover. So and then we have a Batman 21, which is the same matching lenticular cover. I'll never get it right, but you can see it changes between Flash and Batman. And the last book I picked up from that seller is a hip hop variant cover of Extraordinary X-Men. So I've been picking up these covers whenever I see them at a reasonable price, trying to get the collection finished. So that's pretty cool. So overall, I think Metro Comic Con was very good in some things and not so great in others. But for a first con in a long time for the organizers, it was very good and had a lot of potential for growth and to be better. They had some very cool guests and comic artists with Mike McCone, and there was one more who is the gentleman who did Lucifer. Um, sorry, not Lucifer, the gentleman who did Preacher, but I didn't get anything from him. And the stalls, the setup was different. Um, it worked in the situation. It was that there wasn't overly packed and you had room to move around and walk around and look at everything. But a lot of space they could have utilized that they didn't, and probably had more stalls and some more interaction with fans. But beside that, as I said, good show. Very good for a first show, and hopefully it was a success for them, and they keep going with the show. Uh, for the people who catch this in the replay, thank you for watching. Um, Also, just a quick reminder for people who do vote, the Comic Book Community Awards is got about 3 weeks left to get in your votes. Um, Thank you for watching. Click the like and subscribe. Thank you.